stands open to down there because it's deadlocked in the morning. And last night it was open long past the VK and not short past at this time of the evening. I just called on the SDR. Your S9 Plus, of course, now I'm listening directly. John, go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm beaming southwest, Billy. Yeah, you're 20 over 9. So, you know, when it's like this, it can suddenly disappear, Billy, over.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know it can. It's very interesting, actually, the fact that we're getting propagation to VK because everything has been very, very poor in the mornings. The last 2 mornings I haven't been able to make any impression. I mean, I don't hear myself on the SDR down there, so I don't waste time calling, John, over.
Yeah, it's a great system. It's a great system. No point in calling into space when you're not being heard, Billy, but you're a terrific signal, especially when you were calling. You were 20 over and lovely audio, Billy, over.
Yeah, well, thanks for the flowers on the audio. This is classical audio from a Drake and a Shure 444. Nothing spectacular here. Go ahead.
Yeah, and when you speak with the Shure 444, how close are you to the mic? Over.
Yeah, about 3 inches, 4 inches. Go ahead.
Yeah, so are you kind of bending over to talk into it? Over.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'll prop my elbows on the bench. It's probably not the most comfortable thing to do, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, I'm making a recording of our transmission, and I'll send it to you. You'll be quite impressed how you sound. Over.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. If you're doing that, I'm using the Drake speech processor, which I find very effective. I'll take it off if you're doing a recording so we can see what the difference is. My peak power on the watt meter will not change. And I have a scope here, so I'm looking at peak powers. It's currently about 700 watts. So I'm taking the processing off now. And I'm still peaking a wee bit less, I must say. Let's get it back up again. Yeah, we're back to 700 watts now. And I bet you, it's not from the screen, so I don't think it's got the same authority. Go ahead.
Yeah, Roger. Well, with the processor on, it was much better. By the way, Billy, I'm using a headset from a call center. Over.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I've tried various microphones here, not from a point of view of comfort, but from a point of view of getting the audio right. And I mean, I've used a Shure Fist microphone, which is good, but not as good as this. And I've used a Heil, which is not as good as this, but getting there. But the Drake microphone is no good compared to the Drake-based microphone. I've got one of them. It's up here just for show, but it doesn't compare. Go ahead.
Hello, John. EI4KU.
Wendy, 4 Kilo United?
It is indeed. Short hop. Strange conditions tonight.
Yeah, are you copying John?
I do indeed. She's 20 over 9 with me.
Yeah, have we worked before? The call sign's not ringing a bell. I'm getting very old now, you know.
Not older, better looking.
I'm just sticking in the log. Ah, good Lord, well, your memory's better than mine. I've seen. We did have a contact, one only, on the 30th of January 2020, would you believe?
John, obviously, very recognizable voice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm on 156 in the mornings to try to keep the old 156 net running. So most of the guys have defected up to 337, which doesn't really suit me because the antenna's quite out of order up there. Actually, the antenna's more forgiving up there now since the big storm, and I lost a lot of stuff. So it's a 3-element on 20 rather than a 4, with a load of wires hanging loose. The final director seemed to takes most of the wind, and it's in a mess. But there's nothing really I can do about it all, and it'd be a terrible job. I need a crane. I would need somebody to go up. I need to lower the thing on the tower to the top of the tower. Then I'd need a crane to get it down. And then I'd probably have to rebuild it because you wouldn't want to spend all that money unless you did. I don't know what, I haven't got the energy. Stephen, go ahead.
Well, if you could keep the last bits off before they keep dangling and shorting things out. Anyway, yes, I do remember 2020 here in 20 as well. Occasionally I listen in when they may do the work getting dead air, but I'm time I could actually get it a little bit off being long past. John, long time no here.
Yeah, long time no here as well. Normally it's on 80 meters, Stefan, over.
Yeah, and usually that's why we never meet. I usually hang out.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, just give me the number. What is the number in the call sign, Stefan, over? Yeah, okay, I've got it, and I suppose you're still on solar power, over.
I am indeed. Otherwise it wouldn't work at night.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, you haven't been able to devise a system of getting energy from the moon, over.
Would you believe it? A couple of years ago when I set up a couple of panels, I suddenly got readings while I was fiddling in the workshop, and I couldn't figure out where on earth does it come from. And there was a full moon shining right on the panels, so that was giving me a feel off.
Yeah, I like that expression, where on earth. Back to you, Billy, over.
Well, I doubt if you get much energy from the moon. When I think about it, it's because it's a rather cold reflected energy. But it's interesting, Stefan, if you're really into alternative energy. To be honest, I haven't got terribly interested. I hear so many things about solar panels. I read the whole article in RSGB, Radcom recently, about all the problems somebody had trying to, well, various people had sorting out noise and things. And at this stage in my career, it was a bit late. It was never going to be an economic benefit, other than if you just did it to make you feel good. That didn't ring a bell as far as I was concerned. Stefan, go ahead.
Now, here is out of necessity. At the time when I was building the place, the local power company was getting iffy about installing a meter box in a timber frame house, so I thought, screw that, and spent the money on solar panels and never looked back.
Yeah, well, I did think about trying to do a system to produce background heat in the living area. In other words, I have two roofs, one's east of south, the other's west of south. I stuck a couple of panels on each of those was the plan, and then run them into a large storage heater, not connecting to anything else, just purely a matter of providing a bit of heat into that room to cut down the having to run things to heat it in between the times when the central heating will be running in the winter time. I have an XYL who's now sits around a lot, got a bit of dementia, and I have to keep the room warm sort of pretty well all day, and I thought this might be a fill-in, but I never got around to working out whether anybody could do it or not, Stefan.
Oh, here's the good news. I actually wrote down storage heater. That never even crossed my mind. But here's what we figured out. There is, these more modern panels, they give up to about 400 watts per panel. So I'm feeding 12 panels, 6 and 6 parallel, directly into the heater element of an immersion. And that gives plenty of hot water. Now in the summer, 6 panels will be enough. In the winter, probably need 12. I haven't got there yet. But a storage heater straight from DC is well doable. What you will have to do, though, is to separate out the thermostat switch. So in this case, the power goes straight through a large contact just to break the DC arc. Three-phase contactor with all three contacts in series. So kind of a Jacob ladder setup. The thermostat switch would burn out very quickly with DC. Other than that, you can feed it directly, and if your storage heater is enough capacity, you probably don't even need a thermostat, and it would actually work. We can attach to it 2 or 3 washing machines, there's still a shower in there, and that's just a regular cylinder over.
Yeah, well, John, we're sort of waffling, and you're being left out. But well, my plan was to get up to 230 volts using the standard inverter system. And I read somewhere you could get an inverter which could cope with two different sets of panels, because obviously one's going to be good when the sun's early in the morning, and the other's going to be better in the afternoon when it comes round to the west. And the idea was to feed it into, I've forgotten the name, the big name of storage heaters, but there's a big storage heater, and the idea was just feed it into that, and it would have, the setup would be, it would have obviously it need a thermostat, but what it would have would be a fan, so I could boost the heat when I wanted it and not have it doing anything when I don't want it. But as you say, I probably have to be able to cut the power going into it, otherwise it's going to cook in the summertime, or cook it, when there's no load on, no output coming out of it.
Well, for what it's worth, you can eliminate a lot of the complications, but it's dangerous DC, so having 6 panel in series rated 36 volts or whatever they are, so they heavily give 40 volts when they're idling. So work out the voltages. I got a regular storage heater element with the heat and the sink, the short and the long element both in series. And that seems to match it pretty okay. Because I get about 260 volts DC, thereabouts, 265 volts or something. So it's a bit more than the 230. But also, there's no point trying to achieve power matching. An inverter would struggle and low light to maximum power track it. So just cut out all the nonsense, keep it simple, and proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, well then you're telling me about 36 volts to 40 volts per panel, so I'd have to get four would be 4 fours. So I'd need 8 panels anyway to get the sort of voltage I would need to make the thing work, don't you think?
Yeah, it's 6 panels, 2 times 6, and what is it? Yeah, 2 times 6 in series, and that gives sufficient voltage. It gives me more than what the rating says on the idling, and that's what counts really. On the load, it drops to about 240 volts, but under loading it a bit helps. So work out the figures: 36, 40 volts. About 400 watts per panel, all in series, and slightly smaller rating on the storage heater. And I would suspect that if the thing is big enough, it might cook eventually. You have to have some way of disconnecting it, obviously. And for that you use a separate circuit, something low voltage, to throw the switch. But other than that, I'm talking about hot water here, but I would on storage heater. That is actually such a good idea.
I never thought of the fact of just string them in series and end up with the voltage, because I assumed that if you had, some on one roof and some on the other, the ones that wouldn't be facing the sun would, what's going to happen to voltage there when you've got good output from one lot, say half of them, and what happens to the other half of them then if they're not being illuminated? Surely that's going to be, we're not going to get the voltage total.
My football team.
Well, so this would be, okay, you can have a bit of leakage into the under-illuminated panels, but it's negligible really, because you will have to still overcome the through voltage on each of the cells. So think of it as just like a regular diode. But if you're really concerned about losing a few watts, you can put diodes in series. It needs to be hefty enough. So 1N40011 won't cut it. It needs to be a bit chunkier than that. But that's simple enough to isolate the unused panels using reverse diode.
Well, that's a thought. Yeah, you just bypass them if they're not doing enough, and depend on the others. So the voltage would be down a bit then because you'd only have half the panels, but at the same time you'll still have a bit of energy in. John, are you bored with all of this? The ONSEI GI3NVW.
Negative, no, but I have the advantage of I can listen to you guys and I can listen to another guy, Billy, over.
Oh, I see, right, there's another guy. I'm going to have to get out of here because the ex-whale went down to the bedroom, and normally I come in here and just check, and I have to give her a hand to get into bed, so it's a wonder she hasn't arrived here. What's keeping me back, John?
Yeah, Roger, totally understood. Well, give greetings. I know she doesn't know me, but you can tell her one of your radio friends, originally from Ireland, sends best regards, Billy. Over.
Yeah, well, I'll tell Dorothy that. She hasn't appeared here yet, but I'm expecting her anytime, looking a bit cross. Because this has gone on quite long, but it's a very interesting conversation. And did you tell me you recorded some of this stuff? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm still recording now. So when we finish up in one moment, and Stefan is in the conversation, I'll I'll post it up and I'll send you the link, Billy. Over.
Oh, yeah, right. That's a better idea. Yeah, and then I can listen to it at any stage if I've got the link. Yeah, yes. So you send me the link by email, presumably.
Yeah, Roger. I'll send it by email, and you'll have it in your mailbox tomorrow morning, Billy. But I know you have to get away. So great hearing you. Really amazed at your signal, and I brought the beam up towards Northern Ireland. So I'll put it back to you for a final. You can go back to Stefan then. GI3NVW ON80I. Good night, Billy. Over.
Yeah, well, you're sounding really good. Are you still using the Hermes light?
Negative. No, I'm not using the Hermes light. It is here with me. I'm using its big brother. Over.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because it's the audio on it is on any of them I've heard has been fantastic. You get, and I mean, when I look at the envelope, it's beautifully filled, much better than you can do with any analog radio, as far as I could see. Looking at now, I've started looking at SDRs, and I see the difference in the envelope, and you don't get the distortion. If we try to completely compress to get that kind of envelope filling, we get distorted. And actually, I'm surprised with the amount of clipping that I'm running here that it isn't more distorted than it appears to be. But it looks all right on the scope, and it's looking pretty good. I'm looking for a fan for the linear. I can't seem to get one to fit it. This one gets very noisy, but recently I've shoved lithium grease into it and it seems to stay quiet. So that's, for a while anyway. If I waffle too long, it'll go to high speed and it'll be a rattle, you'll hear it. So I'll try not to. But look, I appreciate that, and thanks for that. I look forward to hearing the stuff. Stefan, I better go back to you because I'd better go here and rescue the XYL, otherwise she'll be getting fed up. But John, great for you. Thanks for calling me. I'm glad I heard you. I was listening to myself on the SDR and expecting that if anybody else turned up, they'd be on the SDR as well. And they weren't. And then I saw the S meter sitting way up at S9 and knew somebody was on the direct path. So all the best, John, and over to you, Stefan, from GI3NVW.
Yeah, nice one, Billy. And
go up to 160, John.
January 2020.
Yeah, in a moment. Over.
Well,
okay.
We have to go into the salt mines tomorrow.
Yeah, we can stay here. Over.
Anyway, I'm just
okay.
taking you both on 20 meters short hop. It really is unusual conditions.
Yeah, Billy, I'm not sure who. There's someone called in. Just stand by for a moment, Billy. Yeah, who called in? Over.
Yeah, John, Gary, EI3GIB. I'm just running 2 on the watts there. Over.
Yeah, you're sounding great. Billy, can you hear Gary? Over.
A noise in there, and in actual fact, the propagation between here and Stefan has gone. He's gone down in the noise. So, as you said, it'll not last forever. Stefan was a good S7, S8 at the start, but now he's a struggle to hear. And the other one, I just knew he was there. So I'm going to leave you with the frequency, all you guys. But great to catch everybody up, and I hope Stefan, that you're still able to hear me saying good night to you. John, it's back to you. You can run the show now from GI3NVW.
Yeah, okay. Well, great hearing you, Billy, and sleep well. You'll get that email in the morning. Over.
Yeah, that'll be great. I look forward to that.
Yeah, okay. 73 GI3NVW ON80I. I'll just wait for a moment, Stefan. I'll just bring in Gary. Go ahead, Gary. Over.
Yeah, good morning to you, John. Long time. Well, no, maybe not that long since we spoke. But I just came into the house and just turned the radio on. I didn't even put the amplifier on. I was hearing a bit of local European and the UK stations are very strong here on 20, so I didn't bother putting the amplifier on. I just swung the antenna, and my antenna's down as well. It's about about 35 feet. It was very windy yesterday, so. But how are you keeping, John, over?
Yeah, keeping very good, and I'll give you a report on the next over. But I'll just see Gary just for one moment. Stefan was there, but he was beginning to fade. Are you still there, Stefan? Over.
Yeah, you still a good 20 over 9 with me, no trouble. How's it going, Gary? You're in Kells, so that's a very short hop. I have you with 4x2 QSB.
Anything from Galway, Connemara, Gary? Over.
Yeah, he's coming in the back of the beam. I'm not hearing him that well. Who is it there, over?
Yeah, Echo India 4, Kilo Uniform in North County Clare.
Yeah, Echo India 4. Give me the rest of the call.
Echo India 4, Kilo United, EI4KU.
Yeah, Echo India 4, Kilo United. Yeah, Stefan, yeah, we spoke on 40 metres there a couple of years ago, actually. Back in 22. So nice to hear you again. You're on the back of the beam here, and my antenna's down low, actually. It's only about 35 feet. The name is Gary, Golf Alpha Radio Yankee. And we're northwest County Meath there, on the borders of Meath, Cavan and Westmeath, Stefan, over.
Yeah, I know you're in Kells, as far as I remember. We had a chat about that at the time. Yeah, you're in the back of my rhombic antenna, so I'm very surprised I can hear anyone at all. So anyway, I'm going to pull the plug. It's late for us. We have a long day tomorrow. So good morning to County Kells.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, you're about a 4 to me here. You're about a 4, but my noise level is a little high here. My neighbours, when I turn the antenna this way, I think he's got solar panels and stuff, so it can be a little bit on the noisy side. When I turn around and go North America, it's out into nothing. 737, take care, bye-bye.
Yeah, talk soon.
Yeah, bye-bye, Stefan. EI4KU, ON80I. Till the next time, Stefan, over.
Nice one, good to hear you again. And last question, and just in case, will you make it over to in September for that convention here?
I'll see what I can do. I'll have a look. I'll check my calendar, but hopefully yes. Over.
Yes, I'm already planning on putting up some sort of antenna there in the field. Talk soon. 4KU clear.
Yeah, take care. Bye-bye, Stefan. Back to you, Gary. Over.
Yeah, very good. Very good, yeah. Yeah, how are you keeping, Sean? What's the story, over?
Yeah, keeping good. Thank you very much. Yeah, you're 20 over, and at one stage you went to 30 over.
Right. There's no bother, no need to turn the amplifier on, so or lift the antenna up. We'll leave it where it is. I'm using a different antenna, John. I had a bit of damage done on my 13-element 6-band. I had it tilted over for that big storm, and of course I was lying in bed here thinking that I should have tied a rope to the top of it because the front of the boom was sticking up in the air, and of course, as I thought, it bent the boom on it. When the antenna came over, one half of the antenna came over, the guy wires for the elements got tangled and it saved it, and it just held it there. So I actually took the antenna. You know what? The antenna was too big for that tower. I have a new tower coming here. I own it. It's down in a guy in engineering place, but I'm waiting him to start a bit of work on it. So I put up a temporary antenna. It's It's the smallest one that GXP have. It's the 3-element 5-band, and what a little cracker of an antenna! It's a 3-element antenna. There's traps on 15, 17, and 20, but I've always used 3 elements here from 10 to 20, and this thing is the exact same as that I've ever used. A fantastic little antenna there, over.
Yeah, Roger. Not a big fan of traps, but as long as you don't go over the, let's say, a kilowatt, over.
Yeah, they're 2 kilowatts that's rated on these ones. I've never seen an antenna with traps as big. They're as big as your arm. They're absolutely huge. Like a lot of what GXP has, exceptionally well made. But I've seen traps before now, maybe, like single traps on stuff there. But these traps are from probably about your elbow to the end of your hand, and you wouldn't put your hand around it. They're absolutely huge there, over.
Yeah, that's great. So do you think you'll stick with that one, over?
I will, yeah, I think I will. I think what I'll do when I get the bigger antenna, when I get the bigger tower, I might have somebody interested in the 13 element. Well, he doesn't want the whole antenna. He wants maybe the 11 element 5, the same as, that'll do him from 10 to 20. And I'm going to take the 2 elements for 40 off it. So when I get the bigger tower, what I'll probably do is I will get boom off Waldemar. I'll get more boom, and what I'll do is I'll just put up a 2-element monobander then for 40. Over.
Yeah, and just remind me, how many bands on that the little cracker? Over.
There's 5 on it. It goes from 10 to the 3 main elements are 15, 17, and 20. And then there's 2 little sleeve elements that hang underneath all 3 of those. So it's 3-element mounts, but I think there's 6. There's 18 elements on. No, it's not 18 elements. There's 6 and 3, 9. There's 9 elements on it altogether. So, in fact, if you go to GXP website and look up that antenna, the picture actually Waldemar uses the one that he asked me to send him a picture. So the one that's on it is the one of mine, the top one. So as I said, the boom. There is a 4-element version, which I was maybe going to buy maybe the 4-element version. I'd take this off it, and I'd even box it and I'd keep it as put it in storage, because it's often handy to have a second antenna. But I was really surprised. I was going to stay away from traps as well, John. I never run much power here. I'm on very high open ground. I don't need it. You can hear it here on 200 watts. But I was a bit wary of the traps. I've heard a lot of guys with the Mosleys that all the rest of the wars were up at 1.3 and 1.4. You only get one very small part of the band where the SWR comes down. SWR on this thing is fantastic. On the trap antennas, like, there's very little difference between this and my other antenna that were all individual elements. Now it's all set on the CW portion, but the SWR comes down to 1.1. This part of the band here at the moment now is 1.19. So the SWR is fantastic. I've been really blown away by it now. I was really surprised. I was only buying it as a temporary antenna till I put up the new tower, and I was going to put the big antenna back on it. But I really like this thing. Over.
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, because there's a neighbor of mine, and I don't know why he bought this antenna. He has a Cushcraft with traps, but the problem is he always runs 1.5 kilowatts. I only run 400 or 500. But Gary, there's a guy in Sligo, and he's on frequency. He'd appreciate a report. So hopefully you'll hear him. I'll hear him. Go ahead, Dave. EI2 Hotel Papa Bravo. Go ahead, Dave. Over.
From EI2HPB. Yeah, John, just a very quick one. My SWR down this part of the band on the cobweb is a bit high, but just appreciate a quick report. I'm on the brick at the moment. Over.
Yeah, you sound great. You're 20 over, and really nice to hear it. Let's see if Gary is hearing you. Go ahead, Gary. Over.
Yeah, I can hear him. About a 5 here. He's on the back of the antenna. Hopefully he's hearing me now, because I'm not running power. I'm just running radio power. Just remind me again, what's the call sign there and the name? Over.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Over.
Be on you here, unfortunately. You're very, very low with me. The call is Echo India 2 Hotel Papa Bravo, and the name is Dave. I'm in Sligo, Roger.
Okay, Echo India 2 Hotel Papa Bravo. All right, Dave, from Echo India 3 Golf India Bravo. It's Echo India 3 Golf India Bravo, and I'm in County Meath, on the borders of Meath, Cavan and Westmeath. The nearest town here is Kells, and the name is Gary. Go ahead, Dave. Over.
Roger, Gary. Yeah, well, I'm glad you can hear me at all. I suppose we're very close to each other, so especially on 20 meters. I can just about copy you, but I did catch all of that. So nice to be able to work you, Gary. As I say, I'm in Sligo here, just outside Sligo town, Roger.
Yeah, very good, Jim. Very good. Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the amplifier on. I'll have it in standby in the background, but it's an ACOM 2000, so I'll have to wait for it to heat up. So, yeah, well, it's good to hear. Yeah, there's great local propagation on the band here tonight. I spoke to a couple of UK stations, and they were very strong. One guy there was 40 over, so I don't know how long the band is like it, but it's very good there, Dave. Over.
Over. Still there, Dave? Over.
Yeah, sorry, John. Yeah, I was using the mouse and I got taken away from the frequency. Sorry about that. I didn't really copy most of what Gary said there. Unfortunately, I've got noise now again, and it swamped him a bit. I only wanted to call in briefly. I didn't want to interrupt anyway, just to see what you thought of the audio. I still have to tweak it, I think, Roger.
Yeah, no, audio is great. I've sent you a photo. And that's something that needs a little bit of work. So there's a photo gone to you now, over.
Okay, great. Oh, right. I'm splattering, Roger.
Well, there's work to be done, over.
Okay, yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get there. Yeah, I realise that I am splattering a bit, and I need to work on the audio side of it as well. But considering that this is probably the first night I've actually used it in earnest, at least it's working. And I made some contacts. Nice short skip, and 9K. KO actually dropped in and gave me a nice report as well, so it's getting out anyway. Over.
Well, when you get a good report from 9K2KO, you're in the ballpark. The audio is great. Just a little bit of the IMD, over.
Roger, yeah, it needs a bit of work. Okay, John, I'm going to the bed. I'm going to the laba. I was glad I heard you down here before I hit the off button. If Gary can still hear me, 73s. If not, pass on my 73s, John. Roger.
Any luck, Gary, on Dave, over?
Yeah, I turned the antenna around, Dave. Yeah, you're 57, 5 and 7. You should hear me better now, over.
Roger, Gary. Yeah, I've got you, but I've got 5-7 of noise here. Is the problem with me? Even with NR2 on, I'm swamped with lower signals. But anyway, I'm hearing you just about. Roger.
Yeah, very good. Well, I turned the antenna. You came up to me. I've turned the antenna around. You were about a 5. You were about a 5 and 5, 5 and 4, but you're up to 5 and 7 when I turned the antenna around to you. So I can hear you fine. I was going to turn the amplifier on, but I'm not going to bother whether it'll make a whole pile of difference or not. Good night, Dave, and 73s. I think it's nice to hear you. I think for the first time there. 73 EI3GIB. Bye-bye.
Cheers, Gary. Thanks again, and nice to work you. Hopefully we'll hear each other again. John, thanks as always. I'm going to hit the nest, and we'll chat soon. 73.
Yeah, and I'm recording this. I'll send you the link, over.
Cheers, John. Much appreciated. Thanks again. All the best. 7-3, lads.
Yeah, nearly 30 over, Dave. Over.
Oh, amazing. Wow. Okay, fantastic. Thanks for that, John.
Yeah. Sleep well. Bye-bye. EI2HPB. ON80I. Bye-bye.
Thank you, John. 7-3.
Anyway, Gary, you're happy with the little antenna, over?
Yeah, I wonder what my signal did. What did it go to when I turned it around? You're so strong to me, and it's only into Europe. Probably not making a whole pile of difference. But I wonder, did it drop away much, over?
Yeah, you're nearly 30 over now, and when you were away from me, you were 5 and 9, over.
Yeah, that's very good. That's very, very good. And even it's down so low, because it's under its wavelength. If it was on its wavelength, it might be better. Myself and my son set up the antenna here. He came to give me a hand. If you look at my QR, I think I have some pictures there on it on the tower. We put it on the tower and we went to 17. 17 is my favorite band. And 17 didn't work great on the other antenna, and I went to 17 first, was what I wanted to work it at. And we were listening to a guy over in Washington. He was in Washington State, and he was about a 7 and an 8 here. And I just said, and of course, I have no reference antenna, I have no dipoles. I just have the one tower because I'm on a small lot of land here. And I turned the antenna away from him completely around. And like normally a person's signal would go down, but you might still hear his voice. But we thought he stopped talking, and I thought, is he talking or is he not? And because he just completely disappeared. And when I started turning the antenna back around again, I could start to hear his voice very, very low. And the pattern of the antenna is quite narrow. For an antenna that has a short boom on it, the pattern is quite narrow. Like you have to when you start to come within about 20 degrees or 30 degrees of it, the signal just shoots up on it. So I've been really, for an antenna that I was buying just to keep me tied over, I've really been surprised with it. Over.
Yeah, and you know, I'm just looking at the Aurora, and you can see the big monster, and then you can you have the 3-element there on the newer photos. Yeah, that's well, I think that's something, and that's something you won't be worrying about. Over.
What do you mean? Something what size-wise? Over.
Yeah, I mean like for wind, you know, wind and wind, whatever it's called. Over.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. The tower that I have here is too small. It's too thin. It's only, the bottom section is only 16 inches to outer diameter. The new tower I have that's lying on the ground in a storage area is about 32 inches. It's double the size, and there's 4 sections on it. But yeah, the other antenna, I was constantly worried about it. And look, I worked a stepper antenna for years, John. I loved the characteristics of it. It had great front to back and all different types of stuff. And when I went with the multiband Yagi, you know, guys have told me, I had a great conversation with a guy in the States that makes all his own antennas and stuff. And he told me, he says, you won't get good characteristics on an antenna where you have too many elements around it, which is like a multiband Yagi antenna. He says, there's too much aluminium there. He says, they will interfere with each other. He did say to me, he says, if you remember years ago, he wasn't quite sure. I don't think it was lightning bolt. He says, if you remember some of the quad antennas years ago, they used to feed them all with separate wire. They'd feed them with separate coaxes, and you'd put like a 5-band switch at the antenna. They worked really well because there was only one antenna active at the time, even though there was other aluminium, other wires around it. But he says, when you run a multiband Yagi, one coax is connected, so you've got 5 elements that's constantly active all the time on receive. So he says it's going to screw with your. Most guys do it if they just want it for forward gain. It's great to have a multiband Yagi, but if you want to have good characteristics like front to back and different stuff, he says you got to go monoband or do something that has less aluminium. And that's why I had thought about the traps before, and I know you said power-wise you can't put an awful lot through them. I don't run an awful lot. These ones are rated at 2 kilowatts. I wouldn't be running near that. On 10. When I run 10 meters here in the wintertime, you know, the 400 watts or the 200 out of the radio was all I would run. So, but I just thought like the way the traps would be on it, I had no idea what the front and back would be like. I thought the SWR would be higher. Everything. I just thought it was going to be an antenna that would keep me going for a year or two until I get the tower up. I've been really overly surprised. I really, really like it. I mean, I know what to call it antennas. The antenna you're using are great.
Yeah, frequency is in use. Thank you.
If somebody was asking me now, you know, to go with a hex beam or go with what I have, I'd tell them to go with mine. It's just a small, slim 3-element monobander in shape. Very little wind take on it. I just love it. It's a great antenna there, Robert.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I have the and it's even smaller. It's the OptiBeam 5.9. No, it's not the 5.9. It's the 10.5. Yeah, the 10.5, and that's got the MOX on this band, and I'm very happy with it. But here's the thing: I used to have it at 12 meters above ground, and then Kurt. ON7OFF, Mr. On-Off. He came out, he says, no, you're going to have to put it up higher. So I put it up to 14 meters, and it really made a big difference, over.
Oh, yeah, and what, in forward gain and front to back, like in everything, it worked much better, over?
Yeah, the whole thing, you know, I was being heard much better, over.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I don't know what your normal takeoff is around you. But yeah, if your antenna is down, you know, my antenna is probably only a half a wavelength or maybe a little above the half wavelength of this band here tonight. It should be up at 60 feet, but the tower is down. But it's okay probably into Europe. North America probably now would be... although I used to work North America quite a bit. I'm very lucky where I am here, John. I'm in wide open ground here. You see it on the QRZ page here. That's why I'm worried about antennas wind-wise. You know, she'll do the damage. I'm looking down through your yoke here. I'm trying to see if there's I'm trying to see. This is my new solid state. Did you buy a new amplifier? I'm looking at this here. Did you buy a new amplifier? Over.
Yeah, I have an amplifier for the. I'm on the Anan tonight. Over.
That's an Anon amplifier. Is it that 1 kilowatt? Over.
Negative. No. The radio is an Anan, which you've probably heard many times. The 7000. No, the amplifier that I have hooked up to it is from VK. Over.
VK, Victor Kilo. Over.
Yeah, Roger. It's called a VK amp. Over.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm looking at this here. Yeah, a VK3 amp. Is it? Yeah. Where's that? Is that an Australian amplifier? Over.
Yeah, Roger. Made in Australia. Over.
Oh, I think I seen them all right, but I didn't actually know where they're from. That's a nice looking. She's a nice looking amplifier. Well, why did you go so far away? If you don't mind me asking, John.
I don't mind. No. I knew a few people that had them. They were happy. So, and I I kind of knew the guy. So I said, well, I'll take one. Over.
Oh, very good. Yeah, very good. That's a nice looking amplifier. So a solid state amplifier. I take it there's probably no tuner or anything. It's just a solid. It's just an amp. Over.
Yeah, just an amp and really simple. Now I know lots of people are using the SPE, and they always looked complicated. But to me, it's just in, out, and that's it. No tuner. I don't work with a tuner in the shack. Over.
And tell me then, I reckon then that all of your SWRs. What's the maximum the SWR on that amp will take before she starts beeping and kicking in there? Most of the solid states are around about a 1.2. I presume that's the same. Over.
Oh no. You can go up. You can go up to 2.0 or even more. No. The reflected power. I'm just looking now. Reflected power is 6 watts, and SWR on this where we are now is 1.2. But I also have the Hermes light. Did you ever hear of the Hermes light? Over.
Oh, I know the Hermes light. Yeah, I know the Hermes light, but that would run. The Hermes light is only running about 5 watts or 3 watts, so you're probably not driving an awful lot of power out of that amplifier. Over.
Well, no, because I have another amp for the Hermes light. There's 2 stations in one. So the Hermes light is hooked up to an ACOM 1200S with the attenuator taken out. So, 5 watts will give me a kilowatt. I never use a kilowatt. I only use 500. And about 2.5 watts, 3 watts on the Hermes light gives me 500 watts. Over.
Oh, very good, yeah. Yeah, well, I suppose then at maximum power, then she would probably allow you to go above a 1.2 SWR then, if you're not running maximum power. I think if you were running maximum, if you're running max, I think on that, I had that 1200 amp. Yeah, if you go anywhere near max and your SWR goes above a 1.2, she's beep, 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 and she'll shut off on you. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I had that. The only band on this one. And one day I'll take it down and maybe do a tiny bit of tuning. 12 meters is a little bit too high. It goes up to about 1.8. But well, I also have the ACOM 1000, so that'll certainly take a hit. Over.
Right, yeah. So that antenna then that works the OB10 5 So I take it there that it's a Moxon for 20, but it's like the rest of the antenna. Then it's 2 elements on all the band there, on all the bands. Over.
Yeah, 2 elements, but sometimes they say that with the interaction of the elements, they get help. But I'll put it back to you for that one. Over.
Yeah, I think they will. Yeah. The JK antenna. JK have a lovely antenna that has 40 meters, 2 elements from 40 to 10. There's a guy I talked to, Chuck, over in the States there, and also has one now. Oh, the guy from Northern Ireland that's living in Boston. Oh, I can't think of his name now. In fact, he's got his new call sign, his US call sign. He's using one of those as well. And there definitely is interaction because there's always a fantastic signal out of them. Even though they say there's only 2 elements per band, I think it's the way they're laid out on the boom. I think there is interaction. They're getting a little bit of help from the other elements. Over.
Yeah, you're talking about Eamon and his new call sign, which is really nice. NI2US. Over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like the I like the call sign. He obviously picked it. Yeah, NI2US. Yeah, I heard him on 40 meters. I think the last time I spoke to him was actually on 40, but that's on that new antenna. That's that JK antenna. Chuck WB9 Zulu, is it W9Z or something? Chuck, I speak to him on 40. You used to speak to him on 40 quite a bit. He's using the same antenna, that JK. They work very, very well. They're a fantastically built antenna. A lot of the Saudis and stuff out there in the deserts and that where it's very windy, a lot of those guys that want monobanders, it's all them, or some of them want the dual banders for 40 and 20. The big Saudi guys, they all run those JK antennas. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, 9K2KO, he's got the Hawk, which is 3 on 40 and 5 on 20 with a long boom. I'm not sure, but I think some of those are they've got the coax separated. Over.
Oh yeah, they'd be twin coax. They're twin fed, which guys will say will be better as well because it's like 2 monobanders rather than having 1 coax. Yeah, I think there's 2, so it's basically like 2 monobanders. You have 2 coaxes to feed it, 2 monobanders on the 1 boom. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, he always fires out a great signal. Yeah, are you on the Kenwood tonight? Over.
Yeah, I'm on the 990 here. Yeah, my flex is. I haven't used remote actually in a while because my broadband here hasn't been great. But I'm on the Kenwood, yeah, the 990. Over.
Oh yeah, well that's a lovely. That's a real ham Radio Shack radio. Over.
Yeah, there's hundreds of buttons on it, and I never touched them, John. I was always a person that liked big radios. I'm kind of going away from that maybe if I do a bit of SDR. I like a bit of SDR work, like when I do the remote work, it doesn't mind me. But yeah, I had a 7800 for nearly 20 years, and there's the 990 here even has more buttons on it, and I don't think I pressed half of them. And I had this radio about 8 years. And I basically, the power switch, the VFO, the volume, and the band switch, that's all I use. Over.
Yeah, I see Step IR are going to cease trading, and I see OptiBeam has sold out to Wemo. Over.
Yeah, all announced on the one day. So there you go. Yeah, well, I think Thomas is retirement. I think he's run the business for 25 years. I'm kind of surprised maybe why he wouldn't go a bit more. Now would be the time he might make a bit of money. The business is well established. It's always your first 10 and 15 years that's the hardest part of your business, John. Normally after that you're kind of well established, and he really would be here. But he's obviously made money about it. He's made his decision, but as regards to Stepper, I don't know. I would maybe even a bit of shooting themselves in the foot because of my own bad experiences with Stepper and what happened with their 40 meter antennas and the work that went on. And it's a whole long story, but I don't know. Have you looked on the Stepper website recently, or say in the last 6 months as well? Their prices are absolutely extortionate. There's nobody buying their antennas. I think. Even the smaller antenna, you can buy an OptiBeam, the UltraBeam. You can buy the UltraBeam 3 element out of Wemo for half the price now of what a Stepper is. Stepper prices have gone bananas there. Over.
Yeah, no, I never looked. I think the that UltraBeam, the one that goes, I think it goes 6 to 40 in one loop. Over.
Yeah, you can get the 3 element version the same as the Stepper have. Their loop elements were vertical, where Steppers were horizontal. But yeah, I think UltraBeam had a little bit of problem with theirs as well. but nowhere near the problem what Stepper had. I think you know Emer there. Is it Emer? E77DX there. He does all the tower climbing in Europe. And I've seen videos of him repairing opti-beams and steppers, motors and setting them up. And I sent him an email one time asking him what he thought was the difference in, and his reply was that he says go to the stepper groups and go to the ultra beam group on Google. He says everybody is having problems with the stepper. He says where ultra beam there's only a few problems with them. He said he'd go stepper, he'd go ultra beam all the way. He reckoned they were a better built motor there. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, of course, and I'll just do a quick ID. EI3GIB ON80I for ID. Yeah, there's also the Japanese type 1 dynamic antenna. Over.
Yeah, that was one that I looked at actually, because I can't pronounce it now. KO or K something. Did they buy one of the European versions? There was a VersaBeam. I think VersaBeam was originally European here. And I don't know whether they were a part of Antenna Dinamica, the Italian company that makes theirs. I don't know if anyone buys those. I know people bought them and they had hard problems with them. But I think there was a VersaBeam here in Europe, but that Japanese company bought the rights to them, as far as I'm aware, because the name VersaBeam, if you look up VersaBeam, this is the company that comes up now. What I kind of liked about them was there's no loops on it. For the 40 meters, they have coils, but the coils are built into the housings of the motors there, so it's all straight elements. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, well, I think because a friend of mine also had problems. He's local to me, and he had the trombones. And when the weather was a little bit icy, you wouldn't want to be moving the measuring tape around the trombones. Over.
Yeah, well, that wasn't the problem I was having on mine with the stepper. The stepper, we were reckon, was running low on power. There wasn't enough of power. When it would get down to about 5 degrees, and with the heavy moisture and humidity in the country here, as you know, it would go to 30 meters all right. It would go around the trombone, but it would just lack power to get out to 40 meters. Well, some days it would work, other days. In the summertime it would work fine, but in the wintertime it wouldn't work. And you know the sprockets, they have a little skip on them. If it gets jammed, you can hear it skip. And I could hear the antenna motors now from the radio room here if I had the window open. And when I was going out to 40 meters, you could hear you could hear it skipping on the sprocket. There's a guy in Austria there done extensive research into it, and he actually bought a trombone element and had oscilloscopes and all different types of stuff on it, and it was a lack of power, loads of different things, a lack of power. The motors didn't have enough of torque in them, all different types of things. The straight elements worked fine, but and I mean, guys that live in areas, now there's guys down in Spain, areas down there, nice warm countries, dry climates, the antennas work perfect, but take them up where we are here, lots of people here. If you go in the Google groups of stepper, all of the people all complaining the same problems there. Over.
Yeah, Roger, and of course Paul, EI or even EA5JZ, yeah, he's got the DB42, so I think he's going to buy some spares just in case. Over. Yeah,
I haven't spoken to Paul in a while. I haven't heard him there, but I haven't spoken to him in a while. I don't even think I spoke to him since he bought that new antenna. He had another big antenna. No, he actually had an ultra beam. The other antenna he had was the ultra beam 6DX, I think is what he had. I think when I spoke to him, I'm not quite sure if I spoke to him since he bought that big one, but I've heard guys down in Spain using them, and with the trombones, they don't have the problems. They don't have the problems that we had here with them. I had planned, and I noticed that Stepper have actually put in higher, this is the third time they've done it now, they've put in higher voltage motors, power supplies. Power supplies now are up to 35 volts. They were originally 24, and then I think they went to 32 or something like that. Now they're up to 35 or 36. Or no, they're up to 38, I think. And I think that's what the problem is. But I think Stepper changed the design as well in 2021, or sorry, in 2021. They changed all the sprockets and the different stuff in the housing. They done some changes in there. Because I got an email from John, a K7L something, who was one of the original founders of it. And they sent out emails to their guys that had problems with steppers, telling us that they have redesigned the antenna. They had put in all new, their motors had been redesigned there about 3 or 4 years ago, over.
Yeah, I'm looking back. Well, I'm looking at your QRZ page, and I'm looking at the little 5-band 3-element. Yeah, it looks great, and it's 26 kilos, over.
Yeah, it's a great, lovely small little antenna. And as I say, the only reason I would go with the 4 is maybe that you might get a wider bandwidth as regards SWR. That's normally what you get. If you have over a 4-element over a 3-element, if you have a short boom on it, you'll get a wider bandwidth. It probably wouldn't give me much gain. If you wanted more gain, you'd have to have a far much longer boom on it. But I don't know. I'll see what's going to happen. I'm not quite sure what age Waldemir is. I might buy the 4-element in case, seeing that there's, well, of course, OptiBeam aren't going out of business. Wimmo is buying them, but in case Waldemir decides in his head that he's going to retire, I'd certainly like to buy another antenna off him before he would go there, over.
Yeah, well, there's a guy in Limerick, and he's listening. He's in his bed with his wife, so he can't talk. But he also has a a GXP, over.
Oh, that's Brian. I can't think of Brian's call sign. Yeah, Brian has the 5-element. Brian has the 11-element 5-band. That'd be the same. There'd be no traps on that one. That'd be the same that was on my big antenna if you took off the 40-meter element. Mine was a 13-element. Mine was basically the same antenna as his, but it just has 2 40-meter elements on it as well, over.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, of course. How is your CW, over?
I don't do CW. I don't operate CW at all. And I was going to move the SWR. This antenna here, 15 and 7 and 20 is all set. Most antenna manufacturers set them at, they always set their antennas on the CW mode or down in the CW portion. And I was going to move mine slightly. I was going to shift it up. But Waldemir said to me, he said, the reason why they do it that way is that you get your maximum gain. Away from your minimum of SWR. So your minimum, because you need very little power for your CW or digital, you'll set your antenna in that portion of the band, but when you're on SSB, then you're slightly above, so your SWR comes up a little bit, you get your maximum gain up there, alright?
Yeah, Roger. Well, maybe it's worth your while getting the 4-element and just leaving it in the box. It won't go off, over.
Yeah, well, I'd certainly like to try it. There's a guy in Ireland here that's after buying a column, I think it is. I have his number, actually. I'd like to ring him. So when I do the new tower, I might buy the 4-element, make it up, and I take down the 3-element, and I possibly might keep it. I'd put it back into its boxes, and I have a big store up there. I'd keep it, because God ever knows when you'd want another antenna for something, over.
Yeah, by the way, Eamon in Boston is listening, over.
Oh, because they're all, what, he's obviously listening on SDR, is he, over?
No, he's listening on his radio, over.
Well, I can't hear him at all. Is he transmitting to you, or did he send you a message?
No, I got a message, but I'm sure he'll transmit. You can swing back towards the States if you want, over.
Yeah, I'll swing the antenna around. I'll have to turn the amp on. He'll probably be able to hear me anyway. But the antenna's down. But we'll swing around and see if he'll say. Just call him there and see if he'll say something.
Yeah, the man with the lovely call sign, NI2US, ON80I, or is it NI1? Maybe no, NI2US, ON80I and company. Eamon, over.
Yeah, very good, John. I can hear you. You're nice and loud here, over.
Yeah, well, you're loud with your lovely audio, and Gary's going to he's going to swing the beam and crank up the put a few candles under the table, over.
Yeah, very good. I like the part where the guy's listening in bed with his wife there. Is his wife listening too, or just him, over?
No, I think his wife is I don't know, dreaming, over. Yeah, he's wearing headphones, over.
Yeah, very good. Very good. He uses these He's listening late. 8 and 5 is 13. 10 to 1. He should be sleeping there or whatever with a wife. Over.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm 10 to 2. Over.
Yeah, I know you are. 10 meters is open today. There. Over.
Yeah. Well, I believe even the band that hardly ever works, the 6 meter band was also operational. Over.
Yeah, very good. I was working in the shop here and I got a text, so I had a conversation there with Jerry up beside me there and just outside of Derry. But yeah, it was open anyway. But no, 20 meters wasn't open, but 10 meters was open. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, anyway, I think Gary is ready to transmit. Back to you, Eamon. Over.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, 1, 2. I'm making sure I've got power going out. Yeah, good night to you, Eamon. NI2, oh God, I forget the call sign already. NI2US, EI3GIB, or 59594.
Yeah, very good, Gary. You're plenty loud here as well. You're 5 and 9. Beautiful evening here. Absolutely beautiful. Nice day. Clear blue sky and temperature's just perfect, but that's going to change tomorrow. Somebody's going to turn the oven on. Over.
Yeah, well, we've come back to normality here, unfortunately. We had a lovely month of weather there, Eamon, and it's back to wind and rain. We had a wind and rain storm here yesterday. Temperatures are not too bad, but it's rained quite a bit. But the long-term forecasts are telling us now we're going to get another 2 weeks of it now, maybe in another week or so, where I reckon temperatures are going to get warm again. It's going to get very hot again, hopefully there for a while. Over.
Yeah, very good. Is it EI2HPB? Is that it? Over.
EI3GIB, over.
Oh, well, I strung it anyway if I didn't hit it. Very good. Yeah, well, I was over there a couple of weeks ago. I think I'm back 3 weeks now, and it was unbelievable, as you probably know. It was just perfect every day there. I was there. I only planned 10 days, and I ended up staying about 15. But just beautiful. What a I was down at the house in Mallinhead, and what a difference when there's clear blue skies and plenty of sunshine. What a difference Mallinhead is, or.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I think it was better over your side, Eamon, because the winds were coming into the east. It was a little bit colder, although it was still lovely here. Now it was anywhere from 20 to 25. Most days around 20 or 21, which is perfect for us. But I think it was warmer over your side because the wind was coming in from the east, so we were a little colder on our side there, over.
Yeah, we had. I was up early every morning there, and I just was doing stuff and trying to get stuff organized, and I would over to do car, get a couple of cars sorted out, and anyway, my wife and a young fella and a buddy of his from college was there in January, so. There was a bit of cleaning up to do and so on and so forth, but Jesus, yeah, I did laundry there. You know, I put it out about 7 o'clock, 7:30, and it was dry by noontime there. It was unbelievable.
Oh, it was, yeah. It was very, very good. It was nice and dry.
Again?
Great wind and a difference. I'm actually listening. Cape 10, where is it? One of the SDRs here to have a listen. Go back to John there. I'm using actually different antenna. The boom in my other antenna got damaged. So we've taken that down. So I put up a temporary antenna, which is actually working excellent. I have nothing for 40 at the moment. I'm using it's another GXP, and it's a 3-element 5-band with factory trapped on it. But the tower is actually down at the moment. We had very high winds here yesterday, so it's only about 35 feet. So I'm delighted you're able to hear me. But go back there to John there, over.
Yeah, very good. I knew something was wrong because you're not as loud as usual. But anyway, I was on 40 meters this morning. I'm getting addicted to this thing here. But I came out here to turn it off, and I seen the message from John, so that's the reason why I keyed up. But anyway, it's still fairly early here. It's only 5 to 8. But I was on this morning there, was able to contact them, the VKA from here. So it wasn't too bad. A few contacts there, but nothing spectacular for signals. A few of them were fairly good there, but it's definitely it's good to see it back on 40 meters. Over.
Yeah, it was quiet. All the bands have been quiet. All the bands. From COVID 2020 up to last year, like they've been absolutely fantastic. So some guys reckon that the peak of the cycle was last year. So I hope maybe they're not right, Eamon. I hope we're not heading back into the doldrums already there, over.
Yeah, I think it is. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think it is. It's sure. I mean, 20 meters isn't open during the day at all. It's only at night time, and that little opening today there on 10 meters and 6 meters. That's just a high. That's all that is. So yeah, it's not good conditions. Anyway, go ahead, John. From what's my call? NI2US. Over.
Yeah, I like that. What's my call sign? Yeah, good. Anyway, Gary, or even Eamon, you're sounding great. Just to tell you, I was talking to a guy who was going to get the 10 Echo, and now he's not. It seems there's no well, I don't know. I believe him. He reckons there's no filters in it. Over.
Oh, really? Well, maybe I'll be going your direction. Like I said, I was talking to Jerry there tonight on 10 meters, and he's got the same as you there. And actually, I think he might have the same setup as well, amplifier and so on. And he was sounding fantastic there. Over.
Yeah, well, I know his setup, and he's using the amp that I have, but he's got the two version. Over.
Oh, okay, very good. I thought his was solid state.
Yes, it is. But yeah, it's from the same stable as mine. Over.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, so I got it. Yeah, so you don't need an intermediate amplifier. I got it. Well, I haven't heard anything from them there, but what do you have to do? You got to buy the filters extra or something. Over.
I've no idea because I didn't do any research, but I was talking to a guy who knows what he's talking about, and he reckoned there was no filters, but just I'm sure it's on the blurb on the paperwork. Over.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it's a bit beyond me there, so I'll take a look and see. But can they be added or something? Over.
Yeah, I've no idea. I'll have a look. I'll have a look myself. But yeah, I know Jerry is using the Hermes Light. Over.
Yeah, very good. Well, anyway, well, this thing doesn't come then. So, do I have to get it from Europe, or can you buy them here? Over.
No, the Hermes Light comes from the People's Republic. Over.
Oh, I see. And where do you order it? Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, the link is on my QRZ page, but I'll send you the link. Over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can check it out. I get so much stuff going on here, John. It's not even funny. So it's not a priority for me. There, it'll be a wintertime job there, or in the fall or autumn time. I'll get into it, but I don't even have the stuff that's here. I don't even have it completed. There's tower work to be done and different. I started a vertical antenna project, so I got to get them things done before I jump on something else. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, do you know what I noticed? The bands were not great for 2 days, something like that. I was looking around the shack and things to do, and one of the things was I have a birdie on 7123, and then it's up on 14550. Was it 14250 around there? And I was trying to figure out where it was, and I plugged out everything one by one in the shack, nothing. And then I went to the bedroom where the modem is, and yeah, it's the booster that goes out to the garden was the offender. Over.
It's a booster that goes on to the what?
Yeah, the booster that goes out to the garden. So the booster for the internet in the garden is coming on the is interfering with the antennas. Over.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, that's what I have out here. A booster from the house, and it's only, I don't know, it's 60, 80, it's probably 80 feet away. But anyway, I sent you a video there of the refrigerator here outside the shack, out the shop here. When I open the door, it interferes with the radio. Over.
Yeah, Roger. I don't know if you ever saw that ad. Well, maybe you didn't, but there was an ad from a few years ago, and I think it was for one of the newspapers, and they opened the fridge, and Bertie Ahern was in it. Over.
Yeah, well, I never seen it, but yeah, I've never. I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to put some RF beads or some type of ferrite here. But yeah, I was leaving, and I was leaving. I was going out to the shop here to work when I was talking to Jerry in 10 meters, and I just had the radio turned up so I could hear. And I opened the refrigerator door, and the noise went up. So I says, oh, somebody must be close. And then I closed it, the noise went down. So I did it a few times. So I sent you the video. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I'm going to look at it when I clear down. But that's amazing. Anyway, we had a good chat with Mike Mulcahy. Over.
Yeah, very good. I haven't talked to him there in a few days. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, okay, Eamon, it's 2:00. I'm going to do one final scan of the band, and then I'm going to clear down. But always great hearing you. I'll put it back to you, Gary, and always great hearing you as well. EI3GIB to take it, ON80I and Company. Go ahead, Gary. Over.
Yeah, okay. That's John, yeah. No problem. Yeah, Eamon, you were saying it was open there today, was it?
It was, yeah. I talked in the Donegal there. Over.
Yeah, Eamon, just a quick report. Over.
Yeah, you're about 5 and 9 here, 5 and 8, 5 and 9. Over.
Yeah, okay. Well, look, out of curiosity, I'm using a different microphone. I'm using a what can I call it? A call center microphone. Over.
Yeah, it doesn't sound any different from usual. Over.
Yeah, Roger. Well, that's good. But at least I can kind of move around. But anyway, Eamon, thank you very much. We keep in touch. Over.
All right, very good. Yeah, I'm going to get off too there. So back to you, Gary, if you had a question. Over.
Yeah, very good. Good night, John. 7-3s. Over.
Yeah, good night, Gary. Talk soon. Over.
Yeah, good stuff. Nice to hear you there tonight. Nice bit of a local opening here in 20 there. I was talking to guys in the UK there, so it was nice to hear. 7-3, John. EI3GIB. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Yeah, it sounds like the midnight version of the Irish Hour. Okay, good night, Gary, and over to you, Eamon.
Yeah, okay, John. We'll see you again. 73. Say hello.
Yeah, John. Eamon, yeah. No, you were saying you were on 10 meters today. Was that between the US and Europe there, huh?